Hey guys, I'm CMA Supra and welcome to another Company of Heroes video. So what do you guys think of this idea? Two Company of Heroes videos in a row with 0 days in between them, not even 1 day between my two videos, which is what I normally do. So what do you guys think of that idea? Sounds good, doesn't it? Because that's what this video is. It's a second Company of Heroes video the day after I uploaded the previous video. There's not even a day in between them. So the reason I'm doing this is because I just felt like playing some more Company of Heroes. So I'm uploading another Company of Heroes video because really all I ever do is upload whatever video or game I feel like playing. Because if you don't feel like playing it, why would I make a video of it, right? It's supposed to be fun. So in this game, my opponent is worse than me. He loses relatively badly, but he does have good ideas. He just isn't good at doing them. So we're going to take his good ideas and we're going to figure out how to counter them because that's what I successfully do. And that's what I want to teach you in this video. This is going to be more of a teaching video, I believe, because it's not that entertaining. I'm going to go ahead and say that. So the main thing I want to teach is, as it says in the title of the video, how to counter snipers as Panzer Elite, because this is a topic that before this game that you're watching right now, I could never figure out how to do it. I just never sat down and thought about it. But in this game, I was having a relatively easy time, so I was able to think about it as I was playing, and I was like, wow, those are genius ideas. Why didn't I ever think of those before? So the main ways that you can counter a sniper as Panzer Elite is a kitten crod, which has a large sight range, a scout car, which has a large sight range like a kitten crod, and it can shoot the sniper that you're trying to find. And another way would be mines. Hopefully, it runs over one of them. Um, there's a few other ways. You can use the AT half track with the snipe ability if you're able to spot your opponent's sniper using your kitten crod or whatever, your kitty. Um, there's a few other ways, but I use most of them in this video, which is why this video is perfect. Because normally, if I wanted to teach you how to counter snipers as Panzer Elite, I would have made a video dedicated to it where I intentionally tried everything I could to counter my opponent's snipers. But in this video, that doesn't really happen. I just happen to use every counter I can think of because I really wanted them dead. Because before this game that I'm showing you right here, I had tons of trouble countering snipers when I was playing as Panzer Elite. So, now that I'm done explaining all that, that was a really long intro. Let's go to the game and what's going on. So, I have my two first Panzer Grenadier squads out. I sent them to capture that +5 fuel close to the southern part of the map. And that's something I usually do on this map as Panzer Elite anymore. I didn't used to do it, but now I do it. And you also saw at one point there I canceled my tier 2 building, the comp group of company. And the reason for that was my opponent was stealing my fuel, and he actually successfully stole it. So I have my kitten crowd capturing that currently. In terms of strategy, I think my opponent is doing 4ES, which, in case you don't know, is a really popular and very powerful strategy to use as Americans against Panzer Elite. Um, I don't use it ever because I don't like it. I think it's not very good, in my opinion. I can't really explain why, but overall it just seems like a terrible strategy. It just happens to work for people, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I should give it a try. But that's what my opponent seems to be doing because he has more than two engineer squads, and he only has one rifle squad that I've seen so far. So that tells me you're doing 4ES. Now, when I was playing this game, I did not realize he was doing 4ES. I just realized it as I'm doing this commentary, which is why I'm mentioning it. So, I did not play against 4ES at all in the strategy. It was just luck that I won and countered it. Um, so yeah, that's that. So, what's going on in the game? I've managed to push my opponent off from my points. I'm not getting cut off anymore. He did a good job of cutting me off at the beginning there. He did take both of my cutoff points, my medium fuel point next to my base, and the strategic point, where it's almost on the screen, now it is on the screen, that strategic point. So he did a good job cutting me off. So now I'm protecting the cutoffs with infantry. I have one Panzer Grenadier squad next to my medium fuel, and I have Panzer Grenadiers next to my, or rather covering my strategic point. They're not really next to it at all. So I'm covering all my cutoffs. I'm making sure I get some resources. He was trying to cut me off from resources early on, especially fuel. I could tell he was really going heavy on cutting me off from fuel. That's very good. You're supposed to do that against Panzer Elite because without fuel, Panzer Elite can't do anything. Even if they have munitions, they can't do anything without fuel. Unlike some factions such as Wehrmacht, where they can, if you cut them off from fuel, they can still use munitions, and Americans are somewhat the same, because their riflemen do have stickies which can counter vehicles. But Panzer Elite, if you cut them off from fuel and they have munitions only, they're not going to be able to do much. So he was doing a good job with that. Currently we have a fight going on in the middle, which is always the, I guess the main area of fighting in this map, just because of the way the map's designed. And my opponent did get Flamer Engineers, which was very smart, but unluckily for him, the flames didn't do much damage to me. That's just luck-based. Sometimes they do damage, sometimes they don't. Against Panzer Elite, they do a lot of damage most of the time. He got really unlucky and did very little damage, so he was just unlucky. It was a smart move, and he actually would have won this battle if the Flamers had succeeded, but unluckily for him, they didn't succeed. Luckily for him, though, he is managing to destroy my infantry half-track, but luckily for me, I have infantry nearby, which can save it. So the squad that was in the half-track is now repairing it, and then I have 3 Panzer Grenadier squads, who I'm sending into the middle of the cemetery to fight the church, or the riflemen in the church. And here's a bad move by my opponent. So he has 1 man firing at me through the church window. You see there's only 1 window with that side of the church? He has 1 man firing at me, while I have 3 times 3, which is 9 men. So I'm doing a whole lot more damage to him compared to what he's doing to me. And for those of you who think the walls should protect him and only that 1 man would be getting hit, that is not true, because in Company of Heroes, buildings, they're not very strong. Bullets go right through them so easily, and so basically, any shots I fire in the general direction of him will hit him, probably. Yeah, there's definitely a 4 ES strategy going on, or at least a 3 ES. I've only seen 3 engineers so far. Maybe 4, but I think I've only seen 3. Now he has 1 Flamer engineers, and that didn't go so well for him. He did manage to annihilate one of my squads, so it's 255 manpower gone, but I also managed to kill one of his Flamer squads. So that's 140 manpower plus 50 munitions gone for him. I'm not sure if that was a balanced trade-off or not. I really don't know. Hey, I just ran over the mine. You might have noticed I actually spotted him placing that mine earlier, then I just forgot about it. I was like, wow, there's a mine there? When I ran it over. I actually didn't realize I forgot about that mine. I just ignored it. So, now you can see there's a half-track on the field. And that's not good for me, because, as you may have noticed, I have 0 AT. I don't have any Panzerschrecks, I don't have any AT half-tracks, I don't have mortars, I don't have enough command points for a Hetzer, and the half-track has a quad upgrade, so it's going to just annihilate everything in front of it. I end up backing up my infantry half-track. I was actually quite surprised how little damage the half-track does to my infantry half-track. I mean, it's been shooting at it for quite a while, and it's still only at half health, my half-track is. So I was quite surprised at that. And then also, it doesn't seem to do much damage to my infantry when they're in cover. As you can see, this infantry squad is still at half health, even though it was being shot at by the half-track. And they did just get Panzerschrecks. I think I have a 2nd squad upgrading with Panzerschrecks as well at this time. I'm about to lose that half-track. But yeah, I think I do. No, I don't. I'm about to have one, though. So here we go, clicking on them, and Panzerschreck upgrade. There we go. So I have 1 squad with the Panzerschreck. They're in the building. They are really low on health. That's health for 2 people in there. They're down 1 man, so they have a sliver of health per man. If they take any damage, they're dead. So I'm doing my best to make sure they stay alive, because they are the only thing keeping that half-track off of me. Luckily, I was able to survive long enough to get Panzerschrecks. I would say that was pretty lucky, really, because I should not have survived that. Maybe Panzer Elite are really good against half-tracks, American half-tracks. I don't know, because normally Americans don't get half-tracks, they get M8s. And the M8 wouldn't have been any different in this case because I have nothing that a half-track can't kill, but an M8 can. So in this case, a half-track was just fine for him, and it actually may have even helped him because of its long range. It has a really long range. But as I was saying earlier, maybe Panzer Elite are just really strong against American half-tracks because I know that if I was playing as Wehrmacht and that half-track was shooting at me, I would have a whole Volksgrenadier squad annihilated in 2 seconds. I have actually seen that happen because those things are so strong against Wehrmacht, at least Volksgrenadiers, and I would say Grenadiers as well. So I would say I was pretty lucky, or Panzer Elite are really strong against American half-tracks, as I've actually said 3 times now. Going back to the game, my opponent either was sending a recon run, or he was really desperate and wanted to get some kind of ground, because I've totally cut him off from the rest of the map, with the exception of a low fuel point and this munitions point on the screen, which is now no longer on the screen. So I know he wants ground. He currently has 2 munitions points and a fuel point, so he's not doing bad. You can come back with those 3 points. It's just difficult to do, especially against Panzer Elite, because the Panzer Elite can get a Panzer IV if they want, and you won't have much of a counter to it unless you're able to get a motor pool and an AT gun. Or if you go airborne company and get the airdrop AT gun, but that costs 375 manpower. That's ridiculously expensive. Although it is an instant build and you can place it wherever. I get the cost, but I never pay for that AT gun unless I absolutely have to. Airborne's really not that good against Panzer Elite anyways. You don't have any good units against it. I guess Armor Company doesn't either until you get the Pershing. Once you get the Pershing, Panzer Elite can't do much of anything without a ton of Panzer Shreks. So, my opponent now has an AT gun, so as I said, you can come back from those 3 points that he has. And an AT gun is a great way to do that because I can't use my vehicles. My vehicles will take 2 hits and die. 1 hit and survive, 2nd hit will kill it. So if I get hit even once, I have to back up my vehicles, and that makes them essentially useless. So the fact that he has an AT gun there makes my vehicles useless, so all I can use is infantry. And if my opponent is smart, he'll have flamer engineers, which he does, and he has riflemen, and he's sending them all in at once instead of 1 at a time. That's very smart. However, he is blobbing, and this is where his execution fails, because blobbing is not the way to win as Americans. I've actually mentioned this tip many times, and I'll say it again because it's just so good, and I know there's a lot of new people that watch these videos. So, never ever blob your units because you are possibly a third more likely to be hit, so you'll take more damage if you're in a blob versus if you're spread out, just because of the nature that bullets and accuracy is in the game. I won't go into the details again, I've done that a couple of times, but just know that if you blob, you're more likely to take damage because your opponent will have a higher accuracy to your units if you're blobbing. So you will take more damage, basically. And here we have the first sniper shot. So at this point, I know he has a sniper. I'm like, oh gosh, really? I'm going to lose this game. I have never won a single game where my opponent has bought a sniper before this game. And this game is where I realized, oh my gosh, these are such great counters to snipers. So, let's start talking about the counters. My Kettenkrad is currently capturing points, so I figured I'll let you keep capturing points. I considered moving my whole army back and luring in my opponent because I knew he had a relatively weak force. So I could go backwards in the map, lure him into an area I can attack because I can't go attacking his base. He has an MG there, and he has an AT gun, and he has a half-track. I would just get annihilated. So I considered moving my whole army back, but I decided against it because I want to see how long I can hold here, and hopefully I'll be able to counter the sniper at some point. That's what I was relying on, really. And once again, he gets unlucky with the flamer. He's just getting really unlucky with those things. He has killed 1 full squad of mine with it, but he also lost his whole flamer engineer squad when he did that. So that didn't work for him. It did work for him in this case, because he had rifle squad to go with them, and I only had 1 squad, but still, the flamer didn't do much damage at all. So, my opponent knows he's pushed me back at this point because, well, he knows he has. He fired one sniper shot and he's gotten pushed back. And here I made excellent use of the sniper ability on the AT half-track. I managed to take out a full rifleman squad with it, so that was just awesome. And here is a huge mistake by my opponent. He retreated his infantry, but he kept his AT gun there. And sure, that half-track is there, but I have two Panzer Shreks, which are both going to shoot at the half-track, and because of the offensive veterancy, they're going to hit the half-track. And you may have just seen the sniper, there it is. Click on the sniper and kill it. Spoiler alert, I don't kill it, instead I just kill the AT gun. He should have backed it up, that was a mistake. He should have backed up his AT gun. Like, move it backwards, not as in bring in reinforcements, but just physically move it backwards back into his base. Because now he's going to lose it, and that's not good for him. That's not what he wants. He wants to keep the AT gun. That thing is 280 manpower. Or is it? I think it's 280. I might be wrong about that. Actually, I might be wrong about that. I think it is, though. So, he just lost an AT gun entirely. I completely destroyed it with the Panzer Shreks. And I now get sniped again. So, in terms of countering a sniper, what am I working towards? I have... let's see, I have a scout car that just came out. That's why I built tier 1 after his first sniper shot. Then I also have a Kettenkrad in this corner so it would be able to spot the sniper, because it has a huge detection radius for snipers, or against camouflaged units, so even in that little corner I would be able to detect his sniper early on. And he knew that, so he chased my Kettenkrad away. So that was really smart of him. So that's not going to work for me. I can't just use my Kettenkrad in the corner there because he has a rifle squad there, which will annihilate the Kettenkrad if I leave it there. And I can't go charging his rifle squad because he has a base MG that'll start shooting at me because of simply how the map is. So I'm kind of stuck. And now he has two snipers. And this is when you know you're in trouble. Now I did buy the scout car, as I said, but I never really used it in this whole game. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but I guess I never used it in the whole game. There we go, that's that. I do have my AT half-track here, but I can't use focus fire again because it is busy refreshing the ability, because I already used it, to kill a rifle squad. So, I can't use that against the sniper. I currently have nothing to use against the sniper. If my opponent had used it more willingly, his sniper that is, he may have done better than this. He may have done better than this. So as I said, I currently have nothing to counter my opponent's snipers with, and let me explain this again. My AT half-track can't use its focus fire ability. I can't use my Kettenkrad. I can't use my scout car because of the AT guns. So what I decided to do is go Luftwaffe doctrine and lay down butterfly bombs, because that's a whole bunch of little tiny mines, and they'll be at his cutoff point. So he will have to attempt to avoid the mines with the sniper, because even if the sniper hits just one of those mines, it will die. Snipers are that weak and those things are that strong. It'll die if it hits one of the butterfly bombs. So that's why I decided to go with that. They're at his cutoff. He has no choice but to run over them or detect them with the Minesweeper squad. And there we go. It worked on the sniper. You see the plus 19? I say, yay! I killed your sniper. So he still has one sniper left. Remember, he had two snipers. So yeah, that worked against one sniper, but there's still another sniper out there, and the riflemen are running into the butterfly bombs now. But I decided to lay down more because that just worked so well, and most of my forces here. If I can prevent the sniper from moving forward into my forces, then I don't really have anything to fear. And there's another sniper of his, the second one. And he says GG. You may be wondering why my opponent didn't go attack the... Why is the game still going on even though it says he dropped? I actually don't know. That's interesting. Maybe that... Oh, there we go. His sniper is dead. So that's what happened. I was wondering why he said GG and then continued playing. So he dropped and the game still played. I was playing against the AI, basically. Okay, so let me go back to explaining what I was going to explain. You may be wondering why my opponent didn't go to his fuel point and try to attack me there. I don't really know, because he should have, but I guess he didn't because he was so focused on the cutoff point that he didn't think of it. So, um, I was gonna say something. I don't know what it was. Yeah, I don't have a clue what it was. I did manage to capture the fuel point next to his base. He should have attacked it. That's what I was gonna say. Realistically, I was not scared of him attacking it. I knew that if he decided to attack it, that would be fine with me, because he would have to send most of his forces to attack it if he wanted to really attack it, so that he could get some points. So if he were to send most of his forces down there to attack it, he would have had to. He wouldn't have very many forces left protecting his cutoff point as his base. So what I would be able to do is charge in with my stuff, kill the base MG, and then charge in with the rest of my stuff. I guess that'd be infantry remaining. And if there was an AT gun still alive, I would have to somehow deal with that. Probably a mortar half-track is what I would have gone with. I know I considered a mortar half-track while playing this game, but I never bought one. So, yeah, that's basically how I would have dealt with that if he decided to attack the area near his fuel point. And I keep laying down butterfly bombs, by the way, because I think he's still playing, even though there's only 5 victory points left, now 2, and it's about to be 0. And there we go. You are victorious. So yeah, I thought he was still playing, even though I was playing against the computer. So, I would say I countered the snipers pretty well, and ignore the fact that my opponent was not very good compared to me. He had great ideas, he just didn't do them correctly. His execution was bad. So, instead of focusing on the fact that my opponent wasn't very good compared to me, focus on the ideas behind countering snipers as Panzer Elite, because that's the point of this video. It's not to show a close game or anything like that. As I said, it's not supposed to be an entertaining game, it's supposed to be more of a teaching game this time. So, how many times have I said so in this video? How many times have I said this video? I'm sure it's a lot for both of those words. Anyways, again. Let's stop saying Let's just sit in silence and think about what to say, because I'm sure I have more to say, I just gotta think about it. Or I can just ramble on about how I think I have something to say, but maybe I don't. Yeah, just focus on the ideas behind countering the snipers as Panzer Elite, and that's really what I want you to learn from this video, and that's why I'm making a video out of this. So, there's really nothing else for me to talk about, except I can relist the anti-sniper things, such as Kettenkrad for sighting, Scout Car for sighting and killing, if there's no AT gun. Same with the Kettenkrad, if there's no AT gun, or something that can kill it. You can also use butterfly bombs, which is what I successfully used in this case. You can also use an AT half-track with focus fire ability. You can use... what else? There are a few more things I'm sure I'm forgetting, but you get the idea. I listed them at the beginning. I listed pretty much all of them at the beginning, so go back and listen to the beginning if you want to hear the list over again. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this and found it informative, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys. Great, what do I do now? Because I have nothing to counter this. You stole my AT gun. All I have for AT is an M8 and sticky grenades, so let's go with some artillery.